Anything else you kind of feel what's happening around there? Or?
I cannot do like a one goggle in, one goggle out. And I think my kicks tend to stop while I was like using my arms.
Yeah. And then, have you ever tried to breathe bilaterally, like both sides?
Yeah, because if I try to like right side, I have water into my mouth.
Yeah. You swallow water, hey?
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Just taking your stroke rate. 60 strokes per minute, so it's kind of like, it has a good rhythm in there, but definitely we can work a little bit and see it might just come up a little bit. So let's have a start looking what's happening over top of the water with you. All right, so hand entries. We would like to get your fingers in first, and at the moment they are displayed open wide. So if I would bring up in here Rebecca Adlington, who is one of the Olympians. Just going to look at her hand entry. So as the hand recovers, she enters the fingertips first rather than thumb first. So I'm not really sure if you've been taught actually thumb first entry.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to actually avoid that. So if you're also saying that your shoulder gets a little bit tired, is putting internally rotating that is actually putting more pressure on your shoulder. So we want to be very neutral position.
So when I do recovery, should I do like this?
So recovery, yeah. So it's kind of like, think about palm is shown backwards. Yep, and then just bring it over. Yeah. All right. So with the breathing in here, a little bit delayed. So with the breathing, we want to think about as the hand goes in, this is the moment you would like to take a breath. So if I bring in here a little bit a closer look for you, that is a Paul in here. All right, so we talk about Popeye breathing. So you will see as his hand enters in here, beautifully fingertips first, he straight away turns his head. And that's one of the reasons why he can actually keep the one eye in the water. If it's delayed, your hand will actually drop down in there and you won't be able to keep your head actually low. So it actually stays, so starting off very, very good, it's like in here, but then you're overturning. Because
why I like overturning?
Yeah, because it's because of the delay of your hand. So you'll see the hand is entering, and this is the moment I would like you to take a breath. But in here, it takes you, I will show you on the water as well, your hand actually collapsing under. So you won't be able to keep your head low. You will be start swallowing the water straight away. So that's the reason, and the timing. So we're going to help you with the timing, and you hopefully will see it actually makes so much more better sense in there. So yeah, ideally we would like to keep one eye in the water and looking straight away across. So that's what we're calling a bow wave in here on the front. So you see how big it is, because it's actually keeping the mid-center, which is yours is here, in the water. So it creates a bow wave so he can just breathe inside in there. So whilst I'm speaking, I'm also taking a snapshots of the key areas, so it's quite easy for you to memorize what we have done. All right, so hand and recovery over to the other. The hand recovery is not bad in here. I love the little bit higher recovery, but it's just the way you get into your water here is just on the last minute, almost feels like you're turning your hand out rather than getting it very neutral into the water. All right, so you will see that I can see your palm. So if you look at him, I won't be able to see his palm at all. All right, so it's kind of flat in there, enters in here, so there's no turnouts. Here we go. and you don't breathe on the other side, so I can't actually see it even. Right. So if I have a quick look on the water here, the key for me is just looking how you're breathing. So this is very important, how you get your breath out. Is we would like to have quite a lot of bubbles. The moment the face goes in, you would like to start exhaling. Do you feel a little bit puffed when you're swimming?
Huh?
Puffed, like a bit of out of breath.
Yeah.
So we really want to think about, as the face goes in, we want to start exhaling straight away. So if I would look in here, Rebecca Adlington, so she takes a breath, so let's take her towards us. She takes a breath. The moment she turns, you'll see that there's already bubbles. So she straight away start to exhale, all right? So if you want to hold on to your breath, what it does for you is actually keep pushing you up, and your legs will start to go and dropping down because your lungs are full of air, right? Which makes you buoyant, but the legs won't be having no oxygen, so your legs will start sinking, and you feel like your body position is as not the greatest as you feel, all right? So it's really thinking about today we're going to practice that, is whilst when the face goes in, I would like you to relax bubbles out from your mouth. As you can see, even in here, you're holding onto your lips, and the way you're trying to breathe out is really controlled through like that, rather than really relax from your mouth and the face. So you will see the hand entry here as well.
Yeah.
You see, like it's all turned. So we're going to have a little look at this as well, and the same happens in here. Basically seeing both sides, the hands in there. So we're going to work on that. So before we're going to back to your underwater, where we start looking at catch and pull, we'll start looking a little bit what's happening on the top of the water, because that's, if you think about your freestyle, you definitely heard about the alignment. Yeah. So if you look at yourself on the top of the water, we would like to see you're nice and long, and there's no side movements in there. All right. Let's get you a little bit back in here. So we know that there's a thumb first entry there. So if I would start bringing an arrows through your head and the spine, so we'll see that the hand is have a little bit of crossover in here. And then if I start following your spine, it probably goes something like that. All right, so we'll start thinking about, it's like, where is your alignment in there? The other hand is actually have a quite a big, it's not this one, but relatively big crossover in here. So if you look at your spine, you will see how much it actually moves. So this is how it moves.
Yeah.
Now if I would bring a box around you, which is kind of as big as that, this is actually all the surface area you're going to move around in here, all right? It's actually a relatively big box in there, which means that your hand is swiping to the side, your body moves out from the center. So if I would bring up in here just a comparison, it's always good to look what the professionals are doing and are learning from it, and think about how actually they're going to achieve that. So this is John van Hazel, a very good Olympian. So he's called Mr. Smooth actually, because his stroke is extremely smooth.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at him, if I would draw a box around him, it's basically a box goes as wide as that. So it doesn't go any more wider, right? So you will see the streamline is very tight in there. So this is definitely the thing that I really would like to start working with you, is your hand entries, and how can we get you in a more streamlined position, because it actually happens with your hand entry. You'll see it's a flat hand entry, and you think about everything in here moves forward in the same line. All right, so hand goes in, you rotate the body in the same line as the hand actually enters. So if I will just bring in here, because the hand crosses over here, your body will move this way as well, and that's why you get this drift of your body. All right, so we really want to start thinking about the hand increase is only going further forward on the same line as the shoulder in there. You will see because the hand is a little bit more off in here and the hand actually swipes to the side. You see this hand?
Yeah.
It moves actually this way, sideways. And your fingers are pointing where it's gonna go. You wanna think about your fingers is the direction it's gonna show. So it's only wanna show further forward. And this is the direction you're gonna tell your body to go further forward as well. So I think what you've been taught in your swimming is that you need to stretch out a lot. Is that something like the teaching point you've heard? That's when your hand enters, you need to stretch a lot. Is that something you try to do?
You mean the teacher?
Yeah.
Nothing. He just
Nothing.
let us swing, and he just sit there to watch.
Okay. Okay. So, or if you have watched the YouTube, it's quite common to see when they say at the hand enters, you need to stretch a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but what happens with if you're stretching over in here, you will see the bananas. All right. So the stretch actually goes as the hand enters. If your hip rolls further forward, that is your full extension.
Yeah.
There's actually no more extra stretching further forward in there. All right. So this is kind of like try to get away with this, like trying to do very long stretches. Because it's gonna go make you bananas and the hands are gonna go and move around. Alright? So we're actually gonna, so to say, a little bit almost shorten your stretch in there. So making sure your hip and the shoulder will stay in the same level in there. Alright? You will see the banana in here, okay? So if you kind of look at him here, how stable he is. Like if you think about him drawing a box around him, he's just in the box all the time. Alright. Alright, so let's have a little bit look at what's happening underwater. So that's where we're gonna start seeing. See ya. I'll see you later. Alright, let's get a little bit better picture of you in here. Yeah, very good underwater kick. Very good. I was like, whoa, you've been practicing that a lot.
I think I need more work on that.
Yeah. Alright, let's have a look. Alright, so displayed hands in there. And that's where we're seeing you're going to reach forward, but you're literally putting a stop in here. Alright? Because the hand is pointing actually upwards, it's going to put a stop on your stroke. And then you're going to start pushing it down. So if I bring back in here Rebecca Adlington, you're going to see what she does underwater. So she's not going to push the water forward. She's really making sure that it starts to show you're actually pushing the water backwards, right? Because at the moment, every single time we're going to do that, it's basically put the brakes on the front, we'll keep pushing you backwards, right? If you look at where your palms start to show, it keeps showing downwards, down, down, and now it kind of swipes to the side. And here, she spears her hand in and catches the water straight away back. So you see the difference? Alright. So it's almost, imagine if you have a big barrel in here on the front, you want to go and open the barrel first, and then you're going to roll through, rather than going, hand goes here, brakes, push down. The moment you're going to push down, there's always a lift up. If you think about physics, like as much as you're put a pressure on one thing that gives the pressure back for you, the same goes in the water. It's like how much you're going to put a pressure this way, it's going to send you back the same amount of energy. Right? So it's really start to think about it. Like, if you have not been taught about it, so you probably haven't heard, or maybe you heard in YouTube, this high elbow catch. Yeah. So in order for us to get the high elbow catch, we'll need to start off with fingertips lower than the wrist slightly lower than elbow, so we could get into this catch position in the later on. So at the moment, your ones is basically opposite side over there. All right. So just get these rid of it. And the other hand, kind of a bit better, but you will see how long we will wait in here. Hasn't done much. And then it presses back. Your left hand is better than your right hand, right? Because the right hand goes already this way and it spends time and gives a high five to the other side. Now, when you go for breathing, so that's a kind of interesting thing in here. And you said, like, why can I keep my one goggle in the water? Is first of all the late of the timing. So you see that the hand is already reached forward. You still haven't taken a breath in there. It gives you actually resistance already here, going back. But then you're breathing, and you will see how far off your hand is actually. All right. So if she's going to breathe the same side towards us, you will see that going over in a barrel, what allows her to do, she having this support for her head, because she doesn't go in and then collapses on the front. And that's this is one of the main reasons which you cannot keep your one eye in the water, because there's nothing in here to support you.
Yeah, when I tried to do the side kick drill, like my whole head was underwater.
Okay, I will have a look. We're going to do all these drills through, and we'll have a look what's happening in there. Because that will be the first drill. I would say, like, okay, let's go and have a work with your head position and understand what is wrong in there.
Yeah.
But definitely, and then because this is your favorite side of breath, now for your other side of the breath, you will feel horrible actually, because it will same thing happens, and you're like, but how am I gonna swallow so much water in? It's because of that. All right. It is important. So the catch, you will see that every time she enters, the forearm is going to bend first, engages the water here, and then she's going to pull and roll. So it's not going to push the water downwards. All right. So your leg kick as well is responding to that. So you said that you feel that your leg kick is not really helping you. Is this it's basically the YouTube videos where they say you want to glide and you want to do one kick per stroke, basically. Which means that if this hand doesn't do much, your leg is compensating by doing massive kick in there in one go. All right? We call it a kickstart. You see, there's a kickstart, like boom. Your legs are bending in there. You have a kick, kick, kick. And then there's a massive kick now.
Did I bend too much? Or?
No, it's just the bending of the knees in there. So if you look at her, she has a little soft knees, but you will see still that she's fluttery kicking. Right? So it's not like massive kicks in there. Whilst we're looking you will see that there is quite a lot of knee bends rather than keeping your legs nice and straight. Right. So if you're looking yourself on the front, so that's when I'm going to see also your catch. And that's why I asked you to go straight into my cameras. It's a little bit easier to watch. So this is the hand that swipes to the side. You do get a catch in there, but it's a little bit too late. There's a little bit of catch in here, but again, fingers are very, very displayed. But when you go for breathing, you will see this just swipes to the side. So if you look at her on the front, you'll see hand enters, and she's gonna go hand enters, and she's gonna break in here on the front. So this is kind of thinking about your fingertips are still on the same line as the shoulder. The elbow is slightly out, which means it gives you actually a balance in there on the front as well. Right, but your hand is just actually pointing outwards, and then this big hold in there. You start breathing in here much better. I wonder if it's just the beginning of the breath where you need to start breathing. Otherwise you're breathing pretty well. It's just the beginning of the breath. See, it's just the last minute, like
Yeah.
explosion. But yeah, you see that massive turn, pushing down, and then you decide to go and press the water backwards. All right. And then there's quite a big collapse when you're gonna go and take your breath in there. All right.
Yeah.
So the key things that I'm gonna work with you is the timing of your stroke. So I'm gonna try to do with you a pattern called bubble breathe, which is a bilateral breathing, which means that entry. As the hand enters, you want to breathe straight away.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see how it goes. A little bit thinking about starting exhaling straight away when the face goes in. And then we start working with your side kicking, because that will help you to keep your head still. Now the side kick, it might be that your hand has been dropping in there and it's actually pushing you downwards. Now the key for us is when the hand is entered, that we want to have a fingertips lower on the wrist slightly lower than the elbow, so the water flows over top of your hand. Take a breath. You see as well, he's not actually moving his hand at all. It stays very, very stable. All right. Mid-head is here, always stays in the water. And because his lead hand is here on the front, means that every time when he's going to take a breath, this hand part is actually helping him. If you're going to push it down and try to take a breath, you will sink down straight away. All right. So kicking on the side, which is the kind of the easy kind of a base drill for us. And from here, I'm going to do with you a 6-1-6 drill, where we start working with your hand entries. So really think about middle finger enters. So you're going to do 6 kicks, 1 stroke. 6 kicks, 1 stroke. Now I'm going to ask you to use your wrist on the front, so kind of parallel with your wrist, and that's where your hand entry should be. So I'm going to shorten a little bit how long your hand is going to be in the water then. As he enters, hand always stays low in there, fingertips low on the wrist lower than the elbow, so there is no breaks in there on the front. If you look at him on the front, it's like being on the rail tracks, so really on the same line as the shoulder, really, really streamlined. All right, so this will be a really, really good drill, just to kind of really focusing in on one stroke at the time. So 1 stroke, turn around, kick, kick, kick. 1 stroke, turn around, kick, kick, kick. So really thinking about keeping your shoulder blades nicely back and down. And from here, we can develop a drill called 6-3-6. So 6 kicks on your side, and then 3 strokes. If you look at how he's actually reaching forward, it's kind of like a Jonathan Hazel. It's like a snappy, so forward and a back. So there's no hold in there, forward and a back. So he doesn't extend by holding his hand. It's like a movement forward, movement back, movement forward, movement back. All right. So I would like you to start thinking about, you have a pole through your head and a spine. You cannot go and bend it to the side. You cannot break a metal pole. All right. So 6 kicks. We want to think about 3 strokes. Hip and the shoulder moves the same amount. All right. Kick, kick, kick. 1, 2. Take a breath. 1, 2. Take a breath. To get your hand hinges a little bit better, I'm gonna do it with your sculling drill. Have you ever done a sculling
Like,
on the front? Yeah.
not very often.
Okay. So this is a scull which kind of tells you how to work with the water. So that's the position where your hand enters, fingertips lower on the wrist slightly lower than the elbow, so you can go and press the water backward from there. All right. So sculling. Try to keep your elbows relatively still. Forearms is moving in, out, in, out, in, out. So he's gonna go, showing the palms to us that do the going and you're swimming as well. You're actually gonna move backwards
Right.
because you're gonna put a pressure on the other way. All right. So it's a really good drill to kind of get a feel how thick the water is, how can you work with it. All right. And it's nice fingertips slightly tipped in there on the front, and then sculling. We'll start off with these ones and I will see how you go,
Yeah.
and then we'll work from there.